Cheers! It's Friday the 13th here. I'm Anna from Astralladytarot in Amsterdam. I saw this tag, hashtag for the love of cards, which I thought was really interesting and really fun. It's a tag to get to know others about your love of different cards divinations. Yes, well, I'm not sure about the word divination. I remember looking it up once, and the meaning they gave me was predicting the future. And we all know that's a big discussion in the tarot community. Like, everyone who wants to get a tarot reading or hears about you giving readings thinks of, well, so you can predict the future? Well, some of us think that they can, and others think that they can't. Or just, they simply won't. But that aside, that's just a little pet peeve, isn't it? It doesn't matter. Maybe the meaning of the word changed. I don't know. I'm not a native English speaker. I saw 10 questions that got me excited about doing the tag. So here we go. First question is, what was your first tarot deck? It was the Rider-Waite in the yellow box with the plaid backs and with the font type in Dutch. I bought it in a little esoteric shop. When I was a young teenager, I don't remember exactly what age I was into all the witchy stuff. That's what it's like growing up in the 90s, isn't it? But I never delved into tarot, and to be honest, at that age, I didn't really connect to that deck. Now, years later, when I just woke up in the morning and had this idea in my head, I want to know what the tarot is. I want to know the meanings of these cards that I had when I was younger. So I went back to my mom's house, where I had these cards in my old room, and I just started studying them, and that's when the spark really happened. But I knew damn well, because now we have the internet and all the access, to all the information and all the consumerism habits, whatever, is right there within our reach all the time. I knew that that wasn't the nicest deck that I had in my hands. At least, that's what I feel. So I went on the internet. After a few days, I believe, of doing some research, I found the Centennial Rider-Waite-Smith, and it has been a great love ever since. Do you want to see it, by the way? This has Pixie's font. Beautiful backs with Pixie's autograph. Cardstock is amazing. The colors are muted, which is totally my thing. I have taken off all of the copyright that is on every card. Thank you, US Games, for that. On every card, I took sandpaper to them and just eliminated them, and now they look very old, which is the whole idea of this deck in the first place. Now, years later, I remembered that the Rider-Waite actually wasn't really my first deck. It was my first tarot deck, but it wasn't the first deck that I played with in a divination kind of way. Whoa, I'm actually using that word. When I was a kid, and now I really don't know what age, I had found this little deck of, I think, Spanish playing cards, and they looked really strange to me. It didn't have hearts, it had cups. It didn't have spades, it had little swords. It had clubs, those really fat clubs. So very interesting, and in my mind they were tarot cards, and I was playing with them in the attic of our old house, and I was laying them out, and I was telling my stuffed animals what would happen in their future, how they can solve these problems and all that stuff. And I remember that I had written on a little piece of paper the meaning of every card that I just invented right then and there. And I think I threw them out at a later age, which is fine. It's just every time I see something that remotely like the one that I had when I was a kid, I just get so nostalgic and I want to buy it. Favorite deck creator is the second question. It's not original and it's not a surprise probably, but I really do think it's Patrick Valenza, American artist, so sweet. In his interview, I didn't say interviews, I said interview because I only saw one with SKYPE. Question number 3. Your favorite system, tarot or oracle, etc. By etc. I think she means Lenormand, or what else is there? Playing cards. Definitely tarot. Absolutely 100% tarot. I just got into oracle a little bit, and they are soul cards by Deborah Koff, Chapin, still don't know how to say that. So they are not even technically oracle cards. They don't have a meaning. It's completely your own interpretation. Favorite system within tarot. So I have Rider-Waite-Smith, I have Marseille, and I have Thoth. And I have everything and everything else that's just remotely based off of those 3 very well-known systems. I read best with my Rider-Waite-Smith, well, for clients, because when I read for myself, I write, and so I don't forget what I just read. For clients, I prefer the Rider-Waite-Smith because all the cards are illustrated, and so you really see the story coming to life in the cards before you. So for reading for clients, that is my favorite system, even though I enjoy the Marseille very, very much. Those 2 are like my baby. So it's actually a little bit of a complicated question maybe for me. The favorite system within tarot. What I do is, even when I read the Rider-Waite-Smith, I incorporate numerology, I incorporate what I understand the suit means, everything that you used in the Tarot de Marseille, really. And I even include the Marseille meaning of court cards, for instance, or even the majors. In the Marseille, they mean a little bit different things than in the Rider-Waite-Smith. And I like to mix and match because I like to give a lot of information. So I don't read systems, I read the cards, and I use the knowledge that I have. Yeah. Last deck I bought. Okay, last deck I bought was, because I had Soul Cards 2 and now I have Soul Cards 1. And this is the H.E. Mueller edition. Haven't even seen every card yet. I'm just pulling a new card every day. The backs are not the color that I had expected. They are gray, white, and black. So different from the US Games version. Cardstock is thin but durable. The cards are matte and wonderful quality. I'm really happy with that. This was the card that I pulled today. The Musical Witch. My favorite deck right now. I'm totally into my Centennial. That's what I want to work with. That's what I want to do. I am having a moment with my Wildwood. My favorite deck of all time. Well, you already saw my Centennial, and I already mentioned it twice. So now it's time to show my second soul deck. By Patrick Valenza. It all comes together. The Triomphe de la Lune Paradoxical. Aren't you sick of seeing this one yet? Because I am not. Just look at this. These cards are so witchy. Even this, you know, it says so much. I have read for clients with this deck, but for short readings. Everybody else ready for Halloween? Yeah, so Centennial, Rider-Waite-Smith, and the Triomphe de la Lune Paradoxical are my favorite decks of all time. What deck would you love to own? The Dust to Onyx is a wonderful piece of art, and the cards are black. I love that. I'd love to see what that deck has to tell me. Then the Lassenic Tarot deck. It looks wonderful, but in order to get it here, I'm not ready to pay that amount of money. The Slow Hauler, very unhappy about having missed that deck. I got a little excited last year when it was posted online that the Slow Hauler was going to get a reprint in January 2019, so I guess that didn't happen, and I'm sad. And then finally, I showed you the Wildwood. I would love to have the Greenwood. Now that one is getting a reprint. But are they actually printing only 500 copies? Because that's just mean they know how many people are waiting for the Greenwood. I hope there will be more than 500 copies. I'd love to see if I connect with it. Question 9. A deck you have but struggle with. The New Orleans Voodoo Tarot. I have it here somewhere. Here it is. New Orleans Voodoo Tarot. It's so... I really love it. I've started studying this deck for like 3 times now, and still the readings don't really go naturally. I don't know how to explain. Maybe I could ask a question here. Who knows a good book about voodoo? New Orleans voodoo traditions. I feel that that's what I'm lacking in truly knowing this deck. Because the book that comes with it, I feel kind of assumes that you already know about voodoo. And I don't. So maybe I need a book to understand the book. Last question. If you could have a deck tailor-made for you, what would it be or look like? Okay. The deck would be dark, hand-drawn, a little bit psychedelic, rock and roll, like that, and surreal and magical. I like the idea of the tarot deck being very mysterious, and that it has these esoteric symbols, but at the same time it's very nature-based. I would like the cards to be a little bit bigger than standard tarot size. I like big cards because with everything that I would like to see in those cards, I think a larger size would be nice so that you can easily see everything. I would want to be the only one in the world with that tarot deck. Yeah, I'm that girl. I mean, that's such a good question. I can just keep going. I think I have my perfect decks. Crazily enough. That's it. I will see y'all later. Bye.